Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 13 Cards Subject to Change. Once again, it's Zach and Leroy, just the two of us today, which is sort of fitting because, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached, I guess you could call it the 20th episode. You could call it the 20th and a half, the 21st episode. There was a zero session and that we originally had. But, Leroy, it is officially the 20th of September in the year 2020, and we've hit our 20th show.
I know, and everybody, we did not plan this.
That
this
was
totally just
no way a plan.
Happened.
Didn't plan it out like that. We had no idea that was going to happen. On today's show, we're going to get into a couple of things, obviously current, but we're also going to sort of take a little recap, look back at sort of what we've done in these 20 episodes. Honestly, you've told me we're a couple of months away from like a year coming up on this, and
on April will be a year.
Okay, so we're a decent amount of the ways there, because it's really interesting. When we started this, we had a whole different idea going as our zero session kind of showed. We were going to have like a big YouTube presence, and then obviously the podcast was going to be like a once a month thing, and it turned into just this thing where due to a lot of the pandemic stuff, we didn't have anything else to do. We both had Sundays off, so it's like, let's knock out a couple of shows, let's get our feet wet here, and all of a sudden it turned into
it just started rolling, and we just kept rolling with it.
That's just kind of the thing that we do now is every Sunday we come in and we record the show and we do what we can. I've personally enjoyed the amount of people that we've been able to bring on the show. There's been some technical stuff we've obviously had to deal with, but I mean it's been a really decent time doing this. Honestly, it's been a lot of fun for anyone out there.
Oh yeah.
Who doesn't realize I've had this idea for a number of years. I've tried to do this with a couple of people, whether it was a sports-based podcast, whether it was a wrestling-based podcast, and I just remember I told you one day about it, and I think it was the next day you just came in and you were like, okay, cool, I found this stuff, and I'm like, are you serious? And you were just like,
I think it was like the next day or within a week. I said, hey, I found the equipment, showed it to you, should order it, okay. Boom, ordered.
Well. Again, to quote you, you were old and stubborn. Is pretty much what you were. is all that really turned into.
I started with simple little things with little stands on the table. Then I saw the arms, and I'm like, we should get. Then I get one, or one or two, and then I'm like, we need to get more.
Well, what's really nice is the first couple of shows, I remember my neck used to hurt because we had the mics just on their little stands, and they were on a puzzle box that's still in the room actually. Yeah. And like I was like leaning in, I had my neck all cramped. I looked like I had shoulder pads on, even though we're not on a football sideline.
You felt almost as old as I am.
Oh God, it was terrible. Yes. What's really been unique for me since we started doing this is whether I've enjoyed it or not. I've watched a lot more wrestling since we started, because I think the biggest idea here has been, look, we'll shit on stuff whether we like it or not, but we're at least going to know what we're shitting on.
I agree with you. Yeah, I've been watching a heck of a lot more lately since we've been doing this.
Oh, you end up really getting into a very journalistic mentality. You end up reading, I mean, whether or not it's Meltzer giving 5 stars to the Young Bucks, and apparently, from what I heard, I think it's Matt or Nick, one of them is now, I guess, the most decorated Pro Wrestling Insider wrestler of all time. He has more 5-star quality matches than anyone in the history of wrestling or whatever it is.
They gotta be paying him off for sexual favors or something.
I don't know what's going on, but
that's just totally messed up.
Whether it's been our continuation of hatred towards Spot Monkey Wrestling, which again I want to clarify, it comes off as hate. It's never been I dislike what who they are. It's been my dislike for kind of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I think what's really unique is we've sort of had this conversation many times, but I kind of want to get some thoughts here, because you obviously grew up watching the golden era of wrestling. You watched the territory days. You saw all these people that came up and did all this stuff, and all the people that we look back on. You watched them when they were, I don't even want to say at their peak. They were coming up, and then you obviously saw the heyday of Flair, the heyday of Hogan, all this other stuff, and.
Before they got huge.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. Have we ever gotten your exact opinion? I mean, just overall. Go ahead for a couple of minutes there, uninterrupted. I'll try.
That could be hard for you.
Exactly. But no, I mean, just for you, what exactly do you see in the modern wrestling that like makes sense to you?
Well,
because I don't want to say that we hate modern wrestling, because here's the deal.
I do. I love it.
I like the flippy stuff that happens. The problem is that my biggest issue from especially Spot Monkey, who are the sort of main culprits because they have a national TV segment, that moment where I think we're actually older than are we older than AEW Dynamite?
Older? What do you mean by? Oh, been playing our podcast?
Have we been on this? Have we been doing this show longer than Dynamite?
I think I'd have to look that up, but I believe so.
We might be, yeah. But no. So going back to my point here is, again, it's like I don't think either one of us have really shit on them, other than the fact that, look, we like wrestling to be a certain way, and it's not our style or brand of wrestling. And that's not even true, because like I said, you and I go to indie shows all the time. I just think yours and my problem, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'll let you go here in a second. Does it just come from the fact that now that you're on TV, maybe you should change your mentality from an indie mentality to a national television mentality? And I'm not saying become Vince. I'm saying you don't have to give me the payoff on that night, because it doesn't matter if I don't come back next week. Thousands and thousands of fans are going to come back next week because you have a television show. Is that kind of what I'm getting at there?
I do agree with that. I mean, back when I was watching it back in the day, I mean, it still wasn't like that. I mean, they had to do the stories, they had to keep going, and that's what I enjoy. I mean, WWE and Vince and NXT, they can keep the stories going, which it needs to. The independent, when we're going to see that, it's very AEW does that a lot. Like we see the shows when we go see the shows, they have that MAW and Heavy. When we see those guys, they have to put on a show, because they're probably not going to be seeing these people for God knows how long.
3-4 months maybe.
Yeah, I mean, a good example is like Funny Bone when he came in. One show at AMAW, we told Dave, hey, you got to have him come back. Well, he didn't come back right away. It was months down the line.
It took a couple of months.
He brought somebody else with him, but he put on a great show that day, but he also came and did a great show at that time. But then everybody that we saw on a regular basis through MAW,
the Austin Arrows of the world, the Mitch Paradises of the world,
the system and everything, they were telling stories. They were continuing their stuff, because I watched a few of them online when they're doing online.
Yeah, exactly.
They kept it going. But AEW has the moments. I mean, the one they had going for a while was Jericho, and it was because of Jericho, him and Orange Cassidy, that story went a little bit. Same with Matt Hardy for 14 weeks. 14 weeks. I mean, doing stuff like that. But then got these other ones that you throw it together, like, what? You trying to figure it out. What's going on there? And that annoys me.
It's almost like first of all, we know there's about 7 or 8 people running this show. We know that for a fact.
And that is, I think, one of the biggest problems. There is a lot of people in WWE that are doing everything, but the main authority is Vince. It all goes through Vince saying, okay, we got to do it this way, because that ain't working. We got to keep, and which people look at him as like, oh, that's horrible because he's running everything. But it's like, but no, he keeps consistency.
And you know what's
interesting?
And
that's what helps.
And you know what's interesting? A lot of people don't realize Vince didn't win the Monday Night Wars. If you go back and you watch the Monday Night Wars,
he lost for quite a while.
Well, it's not only that, but in the end, winning the war, not the battles, he won the war because at the end of the day, it was a very consistent show. They didn't necessarily, and it's like, I understand that there were guys in the office, especially on the roster, who were checking the weekly ratings, the hourly ratings, the quarterly ratings, the weekly ratings. Everyone was checking the ratings, because that's ultimately what gets you advertising, what keeps you in business.
Keeps you money.
But at the end of the day, if you go back and you watch that era, correct me if I'm wrong, Raw and again, I fully admit I didn't consistently watch until about, I would say, early 2000s. That, but then again, that's when I got old enough to where my parents weren't monitoring as much as the TV I watched. My dad was never a fan of it. My mom never cared. My mom was like, my mom was like, you're not breaking your neck, you're not doing stupid. My mom never cared. My dad was a bit against it, but I love my dad to death. But he has a moral system, and so do I. Not that mine is bad compared to his. It's just a different version of it. But no, it's just if you go back and you rewatch those days now, and then go back to when I was watching them in and out, occasional nights, this and that. Obviously, I was younger too, and my parents had a very strict bedtime. I couldn't really push for an extra half. Like, here's the deal. Here's the deal. When I was in middle school, there was no such thing as you staying up till 10, 11 o'clock. That was never a thing. That didn't happen until high school.
It wasn't really a thing for me either.
That's my point. Yeah, no, that's my thing. So it's like all this happened at an hour that I was... But, obviously I got to go back and watch the Saturday versions and all this other kind of stuff and yada yada. And now with the network, you can go back and look at those. But going back to my original point, Vince's show was a lot more consistent. Not necessarily in the hype, because WCW, in my opinion, was always bigger hype.
Oh, yeah.
But that's how they were able to keep themselves motivated. The NWO was always more hype. Brain and Dennis Rodman was all about hype. Vince Russo's angle booking was about hype. I would say WCW was a lot like AEW at the time, where it always felt like they were trying to be up here, way up here. And Vince has always, like I said, people think that Vince has a show that goes up and down and up and down. But at the end of the day, the real blip on the radar is a consistent flow of, we're actually acknowledging last week, we're building towards next week, we care about this week. Whether or not it comes off that way, I feel like, again, I just feel like Vince won the war because he stayed the course. He had an idea, and he let it happen. Forget about the fact that WCW would probably still be on the air if it weren't for... Ultimately, we all know what killed WCW was the backstage politics of the committees.
Totally.
Yeah, because again, it's like... Because again, business people, when they make a lot of money, they realize they have the money, they don't need any more, or they want more, but they don't need it in a way that they will do anything for it. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so what ends up happening is we get to a point where WCW got very off because they couldn't do the writing that they wanted, because obviously Russo's writing has never been considered family friendly, and the business people didn't want wrestling. That story's been told 1,000 times. And it's like you can sit here and you can believe whatever you want. I'm not saying Eric Bischoff's the most trustworthy guy in wrestling, if that's even a title that can happen. But
I don't know. Yeah, we might be able to use that.
But at the same time, if you read the book Controversy Creates Cash, it never comes across as him trying to get himself out of trouble. Here's the thing: if you've never read Controversy Creates Cash, you won't understand Eric Bischoff when he wrote the book, because Eric, I read the book, and never once does he do anything but acknowledge that I'm a man and I have an ego. He acknowledges that there were things they could have done better. He acknowledges the mistakes that he made. I mean, everyone thinks the book is just Eric saying this was my masterful plan of beating WWE. It's really not.
Well, he wanted to...
It's explaining what happened.
He was trying to actually buy the company.
Exactly.
Towards the end. It didn't work out for him. But yeah.
And again, that's my point about consistency is Vince, at the end of the day, has always won because Vince is solely a wrestling company.
Mm-hmm. Well, say me and you were too young. I mean, I was old enough. I wasn't living at home. I just had a girlfriend that had to deal with me watching wrestling all the time. But then she got, like, your better half, she gets infatuated by some other wrestlers, so she would sit there and watch. And she was a big Kevin Nash, big sexy fan.
Of course.
She loved him, and so I watch it all the time. But yeah, I watched it in the heyday. I mean, seeing Hogan turn heel, it's like, holy crap. Everything going with
probably, and again, you can argue this all you want. It's probably the biggest gamble in wrestling history. The Montreal Screwjob wasn't so much a gamble as it was probably. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. I actually view a gamble as different than a risk, because a gamble is always going to imply you're going to lose something. You gambled by making Hogan heel because you were going to lose people no matter what, because he stood for the same thing for so long.
Yeah.
The risk with Brett, you expose the business. Some people backstage get angry. The fans always thought it was a work. To this day, Vince Russo still thinks it was a work. But it's just, for me, I look at risk versus gamble, and the biggest gamble in the history of the business was the heel turn for Hogan.
Oh yeah.
I'll say it worked out.
Yeah.
100%.
It turned into, the NWO turned into one of the greatest factions that they had out there.
Yeah.
And as it happens sometimes, where the bad guys were cool.
Do you think for a second, because of what happened to the NWO in the end, do you think maybe that's why Vince isn't huge on long-running factions anymore?
I think so.
Because when you get guys together,
that got so much of a mess.
Well, but the problem was you had so many egos in there.
Yeah.
Nash has admitted 1,000 times he has an ego. Scott Hall, of course, he had an ego. He was friends with Nash, and Hogan is one of the biggest egos in the history of the business.
And I don't think they needed 20 people.
Oh God, no.
In there.
No.
They could have done it with a small amount, but
again, this is where I get my flack from people when I defend Vince. But at the end of the day, here's a prime example. The current world situation right now, the Los Angeles Clippers just blew a 3-1 lead to the Denver Nuggets. Okay, it's probably the second biggest blown choke job in the history of the NBA. Maybe the biggest one, one of the biggest ones in sports. But the problem here is that it's a prime example. So Lakers are WWE.
Yep.
The Clippers are WCW/TNA/Impact/AEW.
Yeah.
They built their roster to beat the Lakers. They built their team to beat LeBron James. LeBron James said, "Build me the best basketball team. Build me the best." I'm not saying the Lakers, knock on wood, are going to win the championship, because obviously anything can happen.
Oh yeah.
But my point is this: the Lakers are very businesslike. They just keep their head down. They don't talk about the Clippers. They don't worry about the Clippers. They're not like, "Hey, bring them on," or "Hey, we're gonna go one-on-one." No. AEW killed NXT for a while, and they killed them the majority of the time. I'm not gonna deny that. But the Clippers, they came out. They said, "We want to beat LeBron. We want to beat the Lakers. We constructed a team solely to beat them. We beat you on opening night. We beat you on Christmas." And okay, but then the next two matchups that were just on regular nights, you lost. You got to the NBA bubble, you lost. And then the battle for Los Angeles, which was supposed to be this year's Western Conference Finals, Clips versus Lakers, I don't care what anyone says. The Battle of Los Angeles is over.
Oh, yeah.
Because here's the deal. You can't come out and talk like the Clippers did. "We want the Lakers. Bring on the Lakers." And then give up on the regular season like they did. Load manage. Kawhi took 20-some games off. Now he's like, "Maybe I should go play." Oh, you think? But here's the deal. Consistency, treating it like a business, Vince McMahon. Loud, flashy, showy, taking shots at the big dog. That's AEW. That's WCW. That's what TNA did.
Yep.
Vince, look, everyone gets mad that Vince never talks about anybody else. Why would you acknowledge the competition? It's like when Roman didn't show up because of the pandemic. Why are we talking about Roman when he's not going to be on the show?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. Why would we acknowledge Chris Jericho when he's A, on a rival network, B, a feature on the rival show, and C, he's not there? Every wrestling company from the dawn of time, when somebody left the territory, they just weren't talked about. The show went on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like everybody came in. I mean,
so it's like, but here's the deal. Vince has always won because he's just kept his head down and go. Whether it was garbage, whether it was The Rock and Stone. Look, having The Rock and Stone Cold at the same time in their prime,
yes.
You weren't beating that even with the NWO.
No, you couldn't.
But Vince beat WCW. He beat TNA. I still think he's going to outlast AEW unless AEW turns around and proves themselves to be something. Because you know,
yeah,
Tony
they
Khan,
are.
As Eric said on the show, Tony Khan can sit there and say he's not worried, but Tony Khan's a child. He's not his dad. Tony Khan is a billionaire by proxy. He's a billionaire by family. His dad is the one who made the money. His dad is the billionaire. Tony Khan's playing with dad's money.
Yeah,
he's giving $3 million contracts to Chris Jericho on daddy's dime.
Yeah, AEW, the only way they can keep going is if, and they have glimpses of good things. But they gotta
but it's
look
always
at
marred by the schizophrenic booking of guys. But again, it's guys. People forget when the Bucks made $1 million. The first guys to ever make $1 million without a major wrestling contract.
Yeah.
You were living off of your WWE hatred.
Yeah.
You were that was a period in wrestling before NXT became NXT. When it was just NXT developmental, before it became NXT.
Yeah.
There was a lot of hate in WWE. Prince Devitt, Finn Balor, was still in Japan. He was the originator of the Bullet Club. He was in Japan. He was angry. He was mean. He was nasty. He was doing house shows, this and that. AJ Styles wasn't there. All of these guys were getting big because of the internet boom, and the fans rebelled against Vince. That's why you made money. But now that there's not as much there's rebellion against Vince. Let's not.
There always will be. Yeah.
But the thing about it is that the hatred is not to the level that it once was. It's not. And I'm sorry to the Bucks, but you can't tell me you're still at the same popularity level as you were then.
No, they're not.
No. Because the thing about it is that you went to Japan, a major promotion that's been going for a long time. New Japan's got a great history, great stars, great work. They didn't care about you. They cared about Kenny. You were a package to Kenny. If Kenny wasn't there, you would have been a snotty little tag team in the junior division that they wouldn't have cared about. It's just Vince wins because he keeps his head down. He does what he feels is best for him, and I give him credit. He doesn't listen to critics very often.
No, he doesn't. No.
He listens. Look, every good billionaire businessman listens when the ratings tank. But what people have to understand, and this is the point that's never really been brought up because we always talk about the Wednesday Night Wars. Y'all ain't coming close to Raw and SmackDown, and SmackDown just hit like a record low rating for last Friday. It's still higher than AEW. At their peak, they're not even close. So, it's like I look at the state of modern wrestling, and I look at guys like Dave who runs MAW. He sticks to himself. He does his show. It's about what his show does, what his show's about, and continuing their story. So, again, Lakers built the best basketball team they could.
Oh yeah, that's what you do.
The Clippers built a team to beat the Lakers, but then they never even got there because they tripped and fell on the way. If you worry so much about what your competition is doing, because remember, here's where history is so ironic. It wasn't even a week ago. or like a week and a half. Clippers and Lakers were both up 3-1 on Clippers over Denver, and then obviously Houston over or Lakers over Houston. And Houston lost the very next game, so the Lakers were done. And the Clippers played like a day or two later, and the Clip Show lost one game, 3-2. Okay, you postpone it for a day, we'll play tomorrow. Then they lost again, it's 3-3. Now it's a game 7. So now LeBron's sitting there, he's waiting. He's getting rested, he's getting healthier. And then you turn around and the Clippers lose. And now there is no Battle of Los Angeles. There is no this, there is no that. It doesn't make any sense that you sit there and you worry so much about the competition before you're even head-to-head with them. And that's the thing about Vince, is that he sits there and he's in his office, he's in his chair, and he's just waiting for the next thing to happen, and he's writing his show, he's writing his pay-per-view, he's writing WrestleMania, and AEW is taking pot shots at him. We all talked about how they were limiting the Twitches. They were going to cancel the Twitching, or the Twitch accounts, the YouTube accounts.
And they changed that.
No. They didn't change it. They clarified it.
Oh, yeah.
Better
clarification.
Yeah, but remember, going to my point of AEW, the second that happened, all of a sudden, you took time out of a 5-hour pay-per-view that went way too long.
Yes.
You took time out of a 4 to 5 hour pay-per-view to give a spot where Kip Sabian is like, we're getting married. And then he holds up his Twitch, and it says on the bottom, AEW approved. So it's like, you took time out of a pay-per-view that we didn't even give a damn about anymore because it went way too long. Also, apparently the heat index was like 100 degrees.
Oh, really? Was that warm there?
Oh, it was hot as balls there. Sweaty, hot, just downright awful. And you went 4 hours on just the pay-per-view.
And nobody passed out.
Impressive.
I'm not worried about the wrestlers, about the fans that were there.
No. Matt Hardy did, but that was for different reasons.
Well, yeah.
That was for different reasons. Yeah. But anyway, but no.
Hit to the head, yes.
Oh, God. But anyway, no, but this is my point. You take pot shots, then you debut Miro, and he debuts... Yeah. No, hold on. He debuts, and all of a sudden, Excalibur, or... Is that his name? I always forget. It's Excalibur, isn't it?
I believe so,
the weird fat masked dude that like is fake up whenever there's a hug in the middle of the damn ring. Anyway.
Yeah.
But no. He says, well, I know he's big on Twitch. It's like, you're not going to acknowledge he was a major player in the wrestling business for a while. You're going to ignore the fact that he, actually just said he was going to quit wrestling and then focus on Twitch, but now he's back to wrestling because that's his passion. You're just going to sit there and be like, oh, he's big on Twitch. Really? Yeah. Another pot shot at WWE. And then he walks in the ring and he opens with the brass ring line. And I'm like, dude, you aren't... Here's the deal. We've talked about it on the show 1,000 times. I've said it 1,000 times. You've confirmed it 1,000 times. No one will ever be The Rock or Stone Cold again.
No, that's
no one's going to hit that level.
1 in a million chance.
But the truth is, Leroy, is that if you do the math across the world, there's millions of professional wrestlers. Hundreds of millions, maybe.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dudes and gals who are trying to be pro wrestlers. But here's the deal. The Rock and Stone Cold, they would have gotten over with any company. They would have.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were just guys who were born with something. Nothing against Miro / Alexander Rusev / Rusev /
whatever we want to call him, yeah.
At the end of the day, look, dude, you were told to reach for the brass ring. Yeah, there's the reports that Vince said, oh, they must have not printed enough T-shirts. Oh, forget them. I'm not saying Vince is perfect, but not everyone's going to get to Rock's success. Not everyone's going to get to John Cena level. This business, 1% of this business becomes the world champion. Less than 1% become Mount Rushmore style talents. Mm-hmm. So if you're sitting here mad that you couldn't get over in a different company, dude, You're not the first wrestler with talent to fail. You're not the first guy who went to WWE, got a little bit of hype, and then fizzled. You're not the first, and you won't be the last.
Oh, yeah.
AEW has failed on some guys. TNA failed on a bunch of guys. Impact has failed on every world champion since the Owl era.
Yeah, I think so, yes.
MAW's had some slip-ups with guys. Not everyone is going to... There's not enough time in the world for everyone to be a world champion. Sadly, Cesaro and Dolph Ziggler are the prime examples of two guys who could have been main event stars. And Dolph Ziggler will be now regulated to probably being a little, annoying thorn in people's sides. And Cesaro will probably be a tag team guy the rest of his career.
Most likely, yeah. I mean,
that's sad.
He has a talent to be singles guy. He definitely does.
But the thing about it is that, you know what? Sometimes you just don't have it. And if everyone wants to sit here and say, how can you say Cesaro doesn't have it? I think Cesaro has a lot.
Yeah.
But who am I to question the man who is arguably the greatest promoter in the history of the business, Vince McMahon? He saw it in Rock. Vince McMahon is the reason why the world knows The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage. I could go on. He is the reason. So if you can't sit in front of him and show him what you've got, if he doesn't see it, who am I to argue?
And there's an interesting thing about The Rock. He owns his name.
He does.
Vince does not. And that's... I heard that. I was like, really? I was like, he owns everybody else's. He owns John Cena's real name is John Cena.
Right, yeah.
And John Cena, Vince owns percentage. So
yeah.
John Cena, and I saw an interview with Howard Stern.
Yeah.
And he goes, I don't mind kicking back a few bucks towards Vince because he's the reason why I'm successful. And I'm like, there you go.
Well, and see, this is my thing. Vince, at the end of the day, has to make decisions that keep a business going.
And he's done quite well.
Don't tell me that because of the pandemic, AEW kept all these guys, they didn't fire anybody, WWE made cuts, but they profited. Yeah, they profited because, you know what? They wouldn't... Right, ticket sales is what profits. They can't make those. They're showing profit because they still have advertisers. They still have a streaming service. And they found a way to survive this revenue stream. AEW has advertisers, but they're also not running as big a thing.
No, they're not. They're only doing one show.
Yeah, exactly.
And I say two. They got the Dynamite one on YouTube, but
that's dark. But I
dark.
understand.
Yeah, whatever the heck.
But it's one of these things where it's like, you know what? At the end of the day, Vince wins because of two things. One, he stays the course. He stays to what he believes, whether he's right or wrong. And number two, he ultimately hires people who know what the hell they're doing. He hires people, whether it's at an executive level, they know what the hell they're doing. Whether it's a business level, they know what the hell they're doing. And you can't tell me that whoever the hell is laying out matches in AEW, if anyone's laying out matches in AEW, you can't tell me that they're better than the training staff at NXT. You're talking about the road dog Jesse James. You're talking about,
everybody they have.
A-Train. William Regal, for crying out loud.
Yeah, just about everybody that is down there as one of the trainers and the advisors have had years and years of experience. And like The Rock, because his daughter's there, that helps. But he just showed up one day and started working with them and teaching them.
Yeah.
Where else can you get that? It's like, oh, what happened? The Rock comes in, oh my God, and he's going to show you a few things that it's only one day, but you could learn a lot in one day.
Oh my God. Especially
from somebody that is so good. Yeah.
Vince gets a lot of flack for sometimes being out of touch. And I'll admit, there have been... Look, again, I want to point out, I'm not saying Vince has hit gold every time. Sometimes he's hit shit.
Oh, God. I've seen a few of those. Oh, my God.
And to make fun of the thing that they make fun of now, it's not good shit. It's just shit.
Especially when he was... Well, they have made fun, and he makes fun of himself when he was trying to sing.
Oh, yeah.
Back then, when they did that album, that was
terrible.
It was terrible, but especially when DX ripped on him about that. That was so funny.
For so long.
Oh, God.
But it's just, so this whole conversation starts with the state of modern wrestling. And I hate to say it, guys, but I don't care what any of you think. I don't care what any of you say. AEW, if they beat on NXT, cool. Now you gotta beat Raw. Now you gotta beat SmackDown. Now you gotta beat the streaming service they have. Because here's the deal. AEW has been copying everything WWE's done. How the heck have you not come up with a streaming service yet?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, they gotta work on it. But if they don't have...
But
they don't have... Vince got the library and all the stuff that he has, the content. I mean, that helps a lot. And they don't really have that.
Yeah.
Because they can't use the Georgia tapes. Because I think Vince owns those. You
mean the Georgia tapes that Tony Khan says?
Yeah, supposedly has, yes.
But
I think Vince owns those, so he can't.
So, since we started this show, Spot Monkey Wrestling is... AEW, they've become a thing. They're now a big topic on everyone's show. I gave my review. I've said there have been some ups, some downs, some positives. So just talking about them for a while and not necessarily sitting here to rip on them or shit on them. I mean, we haven't heard you really give too much of an opinion of what you think they need to change. What do you think needs to happen in AEW for them to eventually come out of this? And honestly, do you think they want to come out of what they're in?
I don't think all of them do. I mean, the few glimpses of FTR and stuff like that, they're good, but that's it.
But even FTR is starting to just become one of the boys.
Yeah, a little bit, but they kind of are that. I mean, Eddie Kingston.
They went 35 minutes.
I know. They got to work on things, but I mean, that's a little bit of glimpse. I mean, Eddie Kingston, I saw a video where he did a promo in front of a bunch of guys about a cookie.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy crap. He's good. I mean, they got to do that. They got to get away from this gimmicky crap and do the more story. And there's a few glimpses here and there. Supposedly there's backstage heat with two female wrestlers, and they let them take it out in the ring a little bit. I saw that, and I'm like, well, you never know. But, I mean, they could do it, but they do. They got to stop the childish crap. They have to start evolving. Orange Cassidy has evolved from his independent scene a little bit. That's what they need to... If they start doing that...
If Orange Cassidy wants to go back... When when we can go back to live shows.
Yeah.
If he wants to go in front of 600 people and play kick, I don't care. But Orange Cassidy from this moment on should never do it on a national television show again.
No, I don't think
don't
he
ever
should
do
at
it
all.
again.
No.
You want to do it at a bingo hall, at an AFW? Is that what it is? AFW? Is that the
VFW?
VFW, thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, no, thank you. If you want to do it at a VFW, if you want to do it at a bar, at a nightclub, whatever, I don't care.
Or if he makes a spot like First Wrestling down in the cities.
No, it's fine.
That's perfect to do it then,
but when you're on national television, I don't ever want to see the play kid again. I don't.
No.
It's funny the first time you see it. Like I said, a lot of the guys that are currently stars in AEW, I was a fan of right away. I'm not going to say I wasn't. But the truth is that, okay, why are you the exact same person you were 2-3 years ago? Why have you not evolved? Why have you not become something more? Why are you not better than you were?
Yeah, if they watch WWE all the time, it's like, look at that. The Rock was Rocky Maivia. He changed it to something else, and he became John Cena. Was
rapping?
He was just John Cena.
Yeah,
and then he turned into the rapper, the Doctor of Thugonomics, and he evolved. He changed. It took a few years, but he changed. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
You gotta change. You add to your persona. Jericho has been doing it for years. Jericho has so many different things that you remember. I remember him in WCW when he was starting out when he was young, and he had
I remember
his security team.
Yeah, I remember,
which was hilarious.
I remember some of his old Japan days. Like, I mean, that's some crazy stuff.
I mean, he evolved over. I mean, and I'm hoping that he is trying to get that over, and I think he was trying to get that over with Orange Cassidy too. Is he got to change?
The problem is that okay, I have ripped and I have shredded and I have hated on this entire Orange Cassidy Chris Jericho feud. It was garbage from the start. It's been garbage in the middle. The ending was a joke. The ending was
They should have waited way different.
The ending was the man who beat The Rock and Stone Cold in the same night, ending up in a vat of orange juice.
Yeah.
Really?
Not a way to end it.
But here's the deal. I will forgive all of it if Orange Cassidy comes out of it a different character. If Orange Cassidy goes back to just doing the same old babyface, if you can call it babyface, BS he was doing beforehand, then you didn't elevate him because he's not bigger. His name is not out there more. He's not more mainstream just because he beat Chris Jericho, because he didn't really beat Chris Jericho. He threw him in a tub of orange juice.
Yeah, it's like, beat him, pin him 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring.
But see again, as I've listened to so many people say, Jim Cornette is one, other wrestling guys have been one, everybody. It's mark booking. It's people thinking that all he has to do is beat Chris Jericho and he's a star. Doesn't work that way. Fandango beat Chris Jericho at WrestleMania when Chris Jericho was Y2J Chris Jericho. Fandango was nothing after that for the longest time.
Yeah, he fizzled out, and it happens.
Nothing against him now because I think he's now back doing what he should be doing.
Yeah, what he's doing down in NXT with Tyler Breeze is great.
But it's just, that's my thing, is I don't care what any AEW fan wants to tell me. I don't care what any AEW mark wants to tell me. You guys have not made anyone bigger. No one is more of a star, because here's the deal. Jon Moxley's no bigger than he was when he got there. Brody Lee's no bigger than when he got there.
No.
Those are your top two men's champions. FTR has come in and honestly been brought down by this lunacy, I guess is the better term for it. And I'm sitting here and I'm saying to myself, your champion is Hikaru Shida, who is not Asuka. She's not Io Shirai. She's not the Japanese woman that everybody thinks of when you think of the modern Japanese wrestler. Hikaru Shida is an indie female wrestler. That's who she is.
Yeah.
She doesn't have the ability to be charismatic like Asuka. She doesn't have the gracefulness of Io Shirai. Io Shirai is one of the most flawless workers, and again, knock on wood there when I say that, but she's so flawless in her matches. Io Shirai.
Yeah.
So good. It's smooth. It's gorgeous to watch in terms of the gracefulness she has in the sky. It's great. I got nothing against Hikaru Shida, but you come down to the ring with a kendo stick because that's all you got.
Yeah, no, they totally have to either add more people in the women's division AEW, or
somebody needs
put it on the shelf
Vicky
for a
Guerrero
while.
Alone, I think, could book this thing better than Kenny Omega does.
Probably, and then go out there and say, "Excuse me," and annoy people.
But
they honestly could take the women's division, put them on the shelf for a few months, and bring them back, and it's not gonna hurt them.
Put them on Dark.
Yeah,
put them on Dark.
Yeah, that would work too.
On Dark. Here's the deal. Not every wrestling company needs to have a women's division, especially if you can't get it right. And what's so sad to me is if you gave me AEW booking for a month, just 4 shows, plus Dark, so 8 shows.
Yeah, 8 shows. Yeah,
you would see consistency. You would see rivalries make sense. You would see development. You wouldn't see as many 8-man tag matches. I don't know why we need 17,
we don't need
8-man
tag matches.
But anyway, here's the deal. You have snotty, loser-esque guys like the Young Bucks and Joey Janela.
Yep.
Who you could use as snarky little under guys. You have monstrous type people like Brody Lee, who I don't know if Brody's helping himself if he's writing his own shit because it's not good.
Yeah.
You have Lance Archer, who Lance can work.
Yeah.
But the problem is that Lance has been brought in and he's been given the evil Jake the Snake Roberts, and he's working with under-job talent, underneath guys like Marco Stunt, like Joey Janela, like Sonny Kiss. And the thing is, I like Sonny Kiss, but I don't think Sonny Kiss, and it's not because of the gay gimmick, it's because of, I think, just the working. I don't think Sonny Kiss is ever going to get considered a main event style talent.
No.
And that's nothing against Sonny Kiss. It's not saying Sonny Kiss is not a good wrestler. And it's not saying that I'm better than Sonny Kiss. But I don't think that, because here's the deal, and again, going back to Vince for a second. The same formula has worked in wrestling since the dawn of wrestling. Stars look, sound, and act like stars. Are you sitting here and telling me that someday, doing the same gimmick, that Sonny Kiss is ever going to be looked at in the light of Ric Flair?
Never.
I could see John Cena being looked at as Ric Flair because it's a good presentation. It's a serious presentation.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
Presentation that shows that you're worth something. Drew McIntyre, I could see presented like that after a while. Bobby Lashley, I could see that. But again, it's about believability. And I'm sorry, I just don't believe in Joey Janela being the guy.
No.
If I had Joey Janela, I'd look at Joey and say, "Hey, Joey, we're going to pay you for the night, but you ain't winning." And if he looks at me and goes, "What?" I'm like, "You get 5 minutes. That's it. And that's the most I will ever give you."
No, yeah, I wouldn't want to give him any more than that either.
Most of your matches, you're going to go out there and you're going to turn into a 45-match losing streak kind of guy. Because you ain't worth me putting you on TV as a winner. I can't take you seriously. You're a joke of a person. You handed your Twitter off to a management company and you said you've never botched in your career. Every match you have is a botch because you can't punch, you can't drop kick, you can't even get a clothesline right, Joey Janela. And the fact is that the sad part is that Joey Janela, as we've chronicled on the show, and as everyone chronicles, because as it's been said on this show, Jesse confirmed it, as it's been said on the Jim Cornette Experience, he is the one guy in wrestling that as long as you bring up his name, he doesn't fucking care.
Yeah, and that's sad.
He has no problem going down as the absolute biggest worthless piece of crap that ever stepped into a wrestling ring. He is okay with that.
Yeah, the Shockmaster is better. And that debut. That is painful. Yeah.
Shockmaster's debut is still better than anything I have ever seen Joey Janela in.
Yes.
But it's just, I look at this company, I look at the booking, I look at the talent level, which is not there, by the way. And even when you have talent like Scorpio, why is Scorpio Sky working with the Nightmare family?
I don't know.
Scorpio Sky should be out there having matches with halfway decent people, and he should build up a winning streak so that when he finally gets into sports-based presentation bullshit, he comes in with a 20-match win streak, which, by the way, by now you could easily have done. It's not that hard.
Definitely, yeah.
But there is so much potential with a billionaire's checkbook, and they just shit on it.
Yeah, and if they keep going the way they're going, after their 4 years, even though supposedly it said they're in the making of a second show, it's not gonna. 4 years they're gonna be done, and everybody's.
I don't think they're gonna be done. I think in 4 years they'll be off TNT, and here's why I say that.
Be on TBS
you'll still be bringing in some ratings, but they're not gonna give you prime time.
No, they won't deserve it.
They gave you prime time television, which means you need to produce, you need to raise the ratings, you need to go from 1 million to 2 million in a year. You are not there, guys.
They'll be at the backseat of every sporting event that TNT wants to put on.
TNT will give up on them, and they'll put them on TBS. They'll move them to Sci-Fi.
Wherever. Do they own Sci-Fi?
I think they do.
I don't.
Let me double check my notes.
Because I thought Sci-Fi was owned by somebody else for a period, but you know how much that changes.
Not Sci-Fi. How about True TV?
Okay, yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
True TV. But anyway, here's my thing. I just want them to do well so that there is a place for guys like Austin Arrow, God bless him if he's able to continue in wrestling.
Yep.
God bless Mitch Paradise if he's able to be around long enough to get a shot in AEW. But I want a place where guys like Eric Cannon and Darren Corbin can take a legendary rivalry, not just in Minnesota wrestling, but just in wrestling. Just
in general. Oh, God,
and take it to a national stream.
If people could see that, they would be like, what?
And the thing about it is that Darren is such a master of media. He's a master of self-promotion.
Oh, God, yeah.
He would fit in perfectly. But what's so strange to me is the Bucks, who are supposedly the indie darling kings, you haven't called Darren Corbin?
I know.
You haven't called Eric Cannon? You got a problem with these guys or what? I don't know if there's any issue between them, but here's the deal. If the Young Bucks don't know who Darren Corbin is, that's their fault. That ain't no one's fault but theirs.
Oh, I definitely agree with that. I mean, yeah, if they don't know who he is, they should.
You have such a potential, because here's the deal. You were handed primetime television. You were handed a billionaire's checkbook. You were handed a YouTube show that has decent production value.
Yeah.
And you've done nothing with it. And everyone's like, well, they finally hit 1 million with bringing back Miro and all that stuff. Y'all hadn't been in 1 million in like 40-some weeks.
Yeah, it's like, so what? You bring Miro back.
So you got back to 1 million?
Good luck.
You got back to 1 million. Good job, guys. Golf clap. Golf clap. You got back to something? No. But it's just, I want them to be better. And like I said, the last pay-per-view, it was shitty to the average wrestling fan who likes AEW.
Yeah.
It was halfway decent to me, although the Matt Hardy thing is something that they really need to address.
Oh, God, they definitely have to work on that issue.
They need to be better in those spots. They need to understand that, you know what? Look, guys, you were so into... Here's what bothers me about that match. Sammy Guevara fell into a pre-made thing that looked like if you and I fell into it, it wouldn't do anything to us. And yet Matt Hardy falls off a forklift and there's nothing to catch him but a table on a concrete floor.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Did you write that down on a napkin and then turn around and say, hey, let's do it? And then Matt was like, okay, let's just do it. And if you plan that spot, you have safety precautions in place like crazy.
Yeah.
And they didn't. And you can't tell me they did, because referee Aubrey, she threw up the X twice. And no one came on camera to pull Matt off.
Yeah, they have a lot of stuff to work on, and hopefully they do, because then we can have good wrestling more than 3 days out of the week.
Jesse said it. You'll confirm it because you'll confirm I did not shut up about it for 3 weeks at work.
Oh yeah.
I was more hyped for this than anything in years. And I'm sorry, but you can call me a hater. You can call me a Jim Cornette clone, which just because my opinions matches, I like that style of wrestling. It doesn't mean that I'm copying Jim Cornette. Sometimes Jim will say what I'm saying before I say it, but that's me finding the words to do it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, as what they did is they had all the hype in the world, and it was like, yes, yes, yes. And then they gave it to us, and they dropped the ball hard.
Oh, they've dropped it so hard.
Yeah.
The first episode of Dynamite was Cody Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara. The Spanish god, Sammy Guevara.
Yes.
It wasn't terrible. But from the moment on, from that match, I didn't expect the first ever Dynamite episode to be phenomenal.
No.
But you had Cody, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
And in the end, you have done nothing but from that moment but disappoint me over and over and over again. All of your top stars have fame on Vince's show.
Yep.
You have not built a single person since you got there to their level. You've actually taken some of them and brought them down a peg, which is not good.
Well,
you have
some of them did it to themselves.
Well, that's fair, but from day one, I'm just supposed to know who Kenny Omega. And look, I know who Kenny Omega is. I know who the Young Bucks are. I'm a wrestling fan. But if somebody turns into TNT thinking they're going to see Charmed or thinking they're going to see Law and Order or whatever, and they see this, they ain't going to know who Kenny Omega is. They might know who Chris Jericho was. They might know who Jon Moxley was. But they ain't going to know Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega is the best wrestler in the world, so saith the internet wrestling community, to the wrestling world. But Vince is, and I've used the analogy before, he is the band who has a hot record, fans love it, it's great. Next record sounds a little bit like the old record, but sounds a lot new, and they're trying to get more fans, and they kind of piss off their old fans, but the old fans still stick around.
Yep.
But that's Vince. You guys are an indie band. You brought your little, okay, the example is, Machine Gun Kelly, MGK.
Yeah.
Prime example. He brought his rap fans to his pop punk career. So he's got crossover fans because they're now with him. That's AEW. But are you really gaining new fans? Or is this just a chance for all the fans to now see you on a weekly basis because you can't make it to their town every week? That's the feeling I get. Here's the same bullshit we would have done in Wichita on a random Thursday when you came here in between school. But let's do it every week on national television to fans of not just Wichita, but to Minneapolis, to New York City, to El Paso, you name it, Billings, Montana. But I want to like this. I want to love this. But as a wrestling fan, as an educated wrestling fan, you can't watch this and not look at yourself and say, there's more moments that make me scratch my head than make me throw my hands in the air and cheer.
Yes. Oh, I do agree.
There just are.
Yeah. Should we talk about some better wrestling?
Like I said, this is kind of a little bit of a recap of our first 20 shows.
Yeah.
I would say you and I are very much into what WWE is doing on all three brands.
Oh yeah.
I would say right now, okay, so when we started the show, I would say SmackDown was my favorite show of the three. And I would say since that, we've gotten to a point where I'm really interested in Raw.
Yeah,
It has a much more different feel to it, but in a good way. Not that I hate SmackDown. I just feel like Raw has the Hurt Business. There's Raw Underground, which, as gimmicky as you want to believe it to be, it's still something.
Yeah, me and I've more turned towards.
What's your favorite brand?
Right now, it's SmackDown. Now,
okay.
And I think the biggest reason why is I watch it every Friday. I don't have cable, and some people are like, "Oh my God!" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't need to spend it,"
which is fine.
So I get Hulu, so I see kind of the edited version of it afterwards.
Yeah.
And everything, but I see more of SmackDown, and I'm enjoying SmackDown, and I still love Raw. And then I think Raw and NXT are about the same with me. But SmackDown is just slightly ahead. And it helps that I see it.
To me, no promotion or brand has been hurt more by the pandemic than NXT. And here's why. It's not that the talent's not still there. It's not that Triple H isn't still there. It's that NXT became so dependent on Full Sail University crowds.
Yeah.
They became so NXT, Finn Balor said it best. They're the closest thing to ECW we've had since ECW's prime heyday.
Oh yeah.
But the fans of ECW were so much a part of the show. They were like the fourth superstar in the match. Opponent, referee, fans. You get where I'm going with that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, referees obviously one of the most important parts to a match. If it's a match where the referee has to be a part of it, then the referee has to be good. If it's a match where the referee is just there to count 3, then the referee has to be seen, not heard. But they lived so much on the crowd, and it was so organic because that crowd did what they wanted.
Oh yeah.
That I think they're, and again, I've said NXT's still been good, but I think the most hurt by the pandemic has been NXT because you need that crowd.
Yeah, it helps a lot.
The trainees can sit there and pretend to do the chants like, "Oh, bask in his glory, whoop whoop, Keith Lee, whoop whoop." You can do Adam Cole, baby. It doesn't work without Full Sail fans.
Oh yeah, no, it makes it so much better. I mean, hearing everybody screaming. Yeah.
So
it is.
I mean, but no. So okay. I've enjoyed Raw since the show started more. You've gone to SmackDown.
Yeah, I enjoyed Raw, and I've kind of switched to SmackDown.
Okay, and that's 100% fair.
And I might switch over because my peach is on Raw now.
That's
so.
fair. Here's my but it's like here's my thing. Raw, under a weird sort of umbrella, has built a lot of talent in a short period of time. The Hurt Business has brought you, and I'll just say it, they've brought a lot of the African American wrestlers that were just kind of sitting and catering to the forefront.
Yeah.
They're really promoting these guys. And by the way, for anyone out there who's like, "Oh, they only got promoted because of Black Lives Matter." No. These are talented motherfuckers. These are good guys that, due to a pandemic, they just happen to be there. So now they get chances on TV.
But I think
good.
with MVP.
Oh,
I mean, he's great on the mouth. On the mouthpiece. I mean,
but I always said, even when he was the hottest free agent and biggest signee in SmackDown history, he was always a better talker than he was a wrestler.
Yeah.
Okay, he was super athletic. He looked good. He was an athlete. He looked like an athlete, but he looked like an athlete who should have been playing a different sport.
Yeah.
But when he talked, you listened.
Mm-hmm. And he had said he still got it, and it really helps. It helps him.
You never really lose the ability to talk in this business. You lose the ability to go in the ring, but you never really lose the ability to talk.
But that really helps Bobby Lashley, too. Lashley isn't the greatest talker, but MVP just, boom.
Oh, it's fantastic for him. Yeah. And Shelton Benjamin, sadly, has always had every tool in the business, but he was always missing it. He was always missing something that made him, and again, it's not a white-black thing. Because everyone who watched Shelton Benjamin, they talked about Shelton Benjamin matches.
Oh,
they talked about his ability.
He can go. I mean, some of the stuff he's done off the top rope.
He's 40-some years old. He can still go.
Oh yeah, he's. I think wasn't a Money in the Bank match that he ran up the ladder
and clothesline Jericho. I think it was.
Yeah. I was just like, what the? Yeah. So, he's in great spots.
But again, Shelton is elevated to a point I didn't expect him to get to. That's MVP. I don't think R-Truth needs MVP because R-Truth just does his own thing and he's happy to do his own thing.
He is.
He's walking entertainment.
He is so much fun. I watched his. Have you watched his game show he has on the network?
It is so awesome.
It is so out there and whatever.
For all the right reasons, it's so.
When somebody answers a question, he's like, yeah, give him the points. I'm like, that wasn't even close to the right answer, but whatever.
You're the host, Drew.
Yeah, we'll go for it.
People want to look at me and say, well, okay, wait, so you're saying Miz had it? For a time there he did.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell me Miz can't go and Miz can't talk. And you can't tell me that when Miz was champion, he didn't do what he was supposed to, and that's piss you off.
And I didn't really like him when he was a champ, but
you weren't
that was his job. Yeah, he did a good job at it.
And you know, so it's just for me, I feel like the development of the pandemic has really allowed guys like the African American wrestlers who are now in their own little thing together. They've just been able to be shown and be shining stars. I enjoy it. I've liked it. It's been a lot of fun. It's been cool to watch these guys just get TV time in general.
Oh, yeah.
I think you're able to see Apollo Crews on a much more consistent basis, which is always fun to watch. Cedric Alexander, I think... I believe in Cedric Alexander as a heel. I do.
Yeah, I have enjoyed that. There was a nice turn. He's convinced me
that I can hate this guy.
Yeah.
I can... Yeah. It's been a lot of fun. So, where we've been... since our show started has been, we got a little bit of live, and actually our shows existed pretty much through the pandemic only. So we've only been reviewing pandemic wrestling basically.
Yeah, we have not had any
real live
shows.
Stuff to
No, it was it was up in the air right around WrestleMania because they weren't sure if they're going to do it or not or whatever. And then boom, yeah.
So. I mean, for me, I feel like what we got to see throughout this whole situation, and they're saying world news, little breaking world news here. They're saying about March or April there'll be a vaccine that's actually safe. Hey, Donald Trump, if you want me to take yours in October, you take it first. There, you Cheeto. And if you're fine after 2 weeks, I'll take the damn thing. But anyway, no, it's just for me. I look at wrestling in a completely different light because of this pandemic. Because I've been able to watch wrestling without a crowd. And I've been able to watch people sort of... First of all, I have said this on the show 1,000 times, and I will say it 1,000 more. Montez Ford is a goddamn national treasure. He is one of my favorite things in wrestling. For so long, I have enjoyed him from day one. He got to the main roster, and the lights were not too bright.
Oh no,
he has shined, and I think, and not that I'm asking for the Street Profits to be broken up, Montez Ford could be a hell of a singles competitor.
He
could do it.
I just enjoy watching him. When he does his finisher off the top rope.
Oh, it's
50 feet up in the air.
Easily. I'm surprised I'm surprised he don't hit those fans they got going so that nobody passes out.
Well, they could, yeah. Well, I mean, he jumps 50 feet in the air, twists, and turns it.
Changes direction.
I mean, literally, he could probably do somersault, triple Lutz, or whatever in the freaking air.
Oh, yeah.
And still land and do it. And it's like,
so
wow.
Good.
It's so crazy.
So, through our first 20 episodes, who's been your favorite overall superstar, or just wrestler in general that you've grown to really love, you've watched, or maybe the show, like we talked earlier, we've been able to kind of turn around and be like, hey, we've been doing more research, we're obviously more into reading now. You know, what's really grasped you? Who stood out?
I got two. I got one for Raw, one for SmackDown.
Okay.
Drew McIntyre. I really didn't like him before that, but now
what was it? Because he had everything. Size.
I was like, but it was Royal Rumble.
Okay.
That's when it started for me. I was like, oh, right around that, and everything,
the way
it clicked in the way where he was and the way they're pushing him. I was like, wow.
He is one of those guys where everyone always says that people always kind of work better as heels than baby faces. Drew just gets it.
Yeah.
He gets what they want. He gets what he has to be. He has been a breakout star, and I hope the article was correct when they said that they're looking at Drew and saying even if he isn't the world champion, he's still going to be in the main event picture.
Oh, yeah.
I hope he stays there. I really do. Don't get me wrong. I love Kofi. I don't think Kofi was a John Cena type talent where he was going to be always around the WWE title. Kofi deserved it. Kofi had a great run, in my opinion. I know I've been arguing about that 10,000 times, but Drew's been great for Raw. I think Drew is a believable champion. I've always said this, when you've got friggin' Kenny Omega, the world's greatest wrestling...
Happy feet boy.
Thank you. It's like somebody lights a firecracker and tosses it at his toes every time he wrestles. But when you look at Kenny Omega kicking out all the stuff that FTR did at the last pay-per-view in a 35-minute match, it's not believable to me. But when Drew kicks out of a couple of zigzags, it makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Because I look at Kenny, I look at Drew, I'm like, one's 6'5", the other one's like 5 foot nothing.
Yeah.
In comparison, Kenny Omega might be bigger than me, but it's one of those things where it's like, I look at Drew, and I see a star. And he acts like a star, and he's presented as a star. And he's just, it's been very impressive to watch him sort of take that mantle, run with it, and come off very believable. It's been a good run.
And SmackDown, maybe it's the homeboy attitude, but I love Otis. I mean, everybody says like, oh my God, he's such a dork and whatever. I'm like, yeah, he's dorky like all the rest of us.
But you believe it.
Up in Minnesota and Wisconsin.
You believe it.
Yeah, because that's how we are, kind of. So I love it.
It's not just the Midwest attitude. You believe Otis is being Otis.
Oh, yeah. Especially when they're talking about food, and he's like, yeah, the hot dish. I'm like, oh, yeah, hot dish. It's like, yes, no casserole crap, no hot dish. Yes, you know where he's from because he says hot dish.
And you know what? Look, we all know for a fact that if it wasn't for the pandemic, he wouldn't be Mr. Money in the Bank.
No, probably not, no.
But at that time, he was the hottest thing they had going. He brought in the ratings. People watched. He was always at the top of the card doing something. You had to. Sorry, but at the time, there was nobody else to put that on. Maybe if Roman had come back around Money in the Bank, maybe. I don't think they trust Corbin with the Money in the Bank anymore because of what he did the last time he had it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's created an attitude in the back yet where they think they can give him that championship. So I don't know where you go with it. For me, the breakout star of the whole pandemic, I mean, Rhea Ripley is probably a really good choice. Rhea Ripley she's done some comedy spots, but she's always come off looking like a star. She's always come out looking great. Yeah. Adam Cole, I think, took advantage of a lot of the things that were placed in front of him. And Adam Cole, you can say what you want. Adam Cole has done for himself what AEW continues to fail with everybody else. He has added so much more to the Adam Cole Bebe character that I'm excited for the Undisputed Era. I don't know where they're going with him right now because one segment they're heel, one segment they're the happy-go-lucky good guys. I don't know where they're going with that right now, but the payoff is not there yet. I'm going to give them time. I think that the pandemic has also taught us that we've had to be patient a little bit more.
Yeah.
We've had to let things gel a lot longer than we're used to letting them gel.
And some people, and that's what I think some people are not liking it because they want that instant gratification.
Yep.
And it's like, sit back and relax and enjoy it. I mean, my kids, I mean, I get 5 and 8-year-old,
yeah,
and they're enjoying the wrestling just as much as I do when I watch the pay-per-views with them.
As I sit here and I look at some of our notes from past shows, future shows, I'm sorry. I apologize for leaving these two out. The pandemic MVPs are Sasha and Bailey.
Oh, hell yes.
You can't hate that they took the brass ring and they shoved it down everyone's throats. You hated them every week. They got to showcase how good they were. Bailey has turned into what I didn't think Bailey could be.
And the one person that hates them the most? Allison
is my lovely girlfriend who Allison Chronicles, now up in chapter 18, still on our YouTube page.
Damn right, check that out, man. They're hilarious.
But it's just these two girls took the longest building feud we wanted to see in God knows how long.
Oh my god!
And they dangled it, and they dangled it, and they dangled it, and they dangled it, and I can keep going for the rest of the show.
I know.
But here's the deal. Now that the carrot has been grabbed, now that I'm no longer being fished, now that I'm on the hook, I look back at everything. I look back at the whole summer. I wasn't ever bored.
No, I mean, because
the two biggest hooks in wrestling through the summer were Adam Page and Kenny Omega, Sasha and Bailey. Adam Page and Kenny Omega got old real fast.
Mm-hmm.
These two, now that I've got the payoff on both of these rivalries.
Yeah.
I got burnt out with Omega and Page. Because it was so schizophrenic, because it was so bad booking, because some days they're cool, other days they can't wrestle a tag match against you and me. That's how bad it got.
Yeah.
There was dissension, and then for 3 weeks they were fine. Then there was a random dissension, then it's like, all right, whatever, we'll move on. We don't for the team, man. And then all of a sudden the payoff came. And I was just drowned out. I was bored. I didn't care. Sasha and Bailey, they won gold. They played off of years of animosity.
They won all the gold.
Exactly. But Sasha, they played off of Sasha can't defend the big one. She can win the big one. She just can't defend it.
Yeah.
They played off of giving them the belts. They played off of they're just annoying. But at the same time, they were supposed to be. Sasha got to show what I don't think she gets to show a lot anymore, which is Sasha got to show that she can wrestle, which we all know she could.
Oh, yeah.
But she got to showcase her wrestling ability, and Bailey got to become a heel. She got to work on a character development for herself. Which again, I think the biggest thing I've been wrong about on this show, and I don't even know if I officially said it on the show, but it's what I believed. Bailey proved all day and all night that she can pull this off.
Do you want something to eat? My kids are always hungry.
Yeah, well.
I was like, my little girl is hungry. I think she has a tapeworm in her stomach. And I don't know what she want.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. No, I mean, I wasn't sure about Bailey being a heel. And she's singing for us, yes.
Yeah,
and but then when she turned heel. I mean, it's great. And Clara, do you want to tell her who's your favorite wrestler? You can say it. Say it loud so they can. You forgot?
You forgot your favorite wrestler?
You like Charlotte?
Yeah.
Yeah, Charlotte is her favorite.
Fantastic. All right.
And she misses her horribly.
Oh,
but
yes.
we have and I did get that new video game that's out.
You know what's interesting?
It's actually pretty good, and Charlotte's in there.
You know what's interesting? I've actually heard better reviews than I thought I was going to see. From what I'm understanding is it's getting a lot of good reviews for actual gameplay. Yes, it's a bit cartoonish, but supposedly the gameplay is actually very intense. It's very difficult. It's a challenge for people. I
haven't had a real challenge with.
Well, Jason tells me that the third time through, Jake the Snake gets really difficult. That's all I know.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
That's what he said.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, so far for gameplay, and both my kids play it.
Okay.
And they have you can button mash with this thing.
Oh yeah.
And it totally entertains them for hours.
Great, fantastic.
Yeah.
But anyway, going back to Sasha and Bailey, But no, they are the MVPs. I'm sorry. I could sit here for hours and go through everyone that's been going since the pandemic hit till now. Those two were on every night, and I look back, and here's how I judge wrestling. When I look back at your run, whether it's Seth's WWE title run before the knee, whether it's Becky's run before she got pregnant, do I remember what you did? And Sasha and Bayley, I remember everything.
Oh yeah,
I remember the random nights where they just showed up on SmackDown just to shit on Cole and Corey.
Yeah.
They were entertaining. They did what they were supposed to. Sasha played the blueprint, as in she played the best wrestler, and Bayley played a heel.
And I think the one thing
we also didn't know who was going to turn on who.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing.
They kept that from us.
They did it so well that either one of them could have done it.
Oh yeah.
But the choice of having Bayley do it, she has become even more evil. And I'm glad the way what they did this Friday. It extends it more.
I should have been on the Allison Chronicles Chapter 19 when I saw them setting up for Sasha's interview, because when I saw the neck brace, I said to myself, this I like. This I understand. Sasha did not have her music hit. She didn't come out, sway her hips, take the glasses off, and stand in the middle of the ring looking fine. She looked like she was A, devastated, and B, she looked hurt.
Yeah.
It was glorious.
My God, it helps.
It was brilliant. I loved it. Fantastic. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. You didn't ruin the fact that you announced her to come back. And then I didn't expect the chair shot after the interview. To have Bayley come back, that made it better.
Oh yeah.
Okay, better as in I love it, but worse as in oh my God, this is getting more and more personal. But they just went. Okay, here's the deal. Here's why I am so invested. They twist and turn this thing, but it's not a Vince Russo twist and turn where you're like, what in the God hell is this?
Yeah.
It is. I get it.
Oh yeah.
I don't see it coming, but when it happens, I get it.
And they can keep it going. I mean, I don't know how much longer they're going to do it.
What I would do is you've had Sasha come back, you've had her look devastated, you've shown that she's hurt, you've shown Bayley attack her again. Don't put her on TV for like 3-4 weeks.
Yeah. Do it like a month or something.
No. People forget it's a month in real life. It's 4 shows in wrestling life.
Yeah.
If she's off TV for 8 hours of SmackDown television, then when she comes back, she still doesn't have to wrestle, still doesn't have to get physical.
No, she don't.
But she comes back, she makes a small appearance. Okay, we saw her 2 more weeks, then we go into the Rumble, then we can build it.
Yeah.
But I think 3 to 4 weeks. Nothing. Mention Sasha.
Oh yeah. Show video clips of it, stuff like that. Yeah.
Do not have Sasha be live either via satellite or live at the Performance Center / the Thunderdome. Don't do it. But again, so far, I can't deny that I am not burnt out by this. I got my carrot and I'm still being hooked, and I just. You haven't fished me out of the water yet.
Oh, the carrot's big. We're still chewing on it.
Oh, we're still chewing on this thing. It's like Bugs Bunny trying to get to the end of the carrot. We ain't there yet.
I mean, we all know, Night of Champions, Clash of Champions is coming up.
Yeah.
We know what the result is for Bayley's match. We know she's gonna win.
Well,
I don't see her losing.
Well, okay. Here's what I think. And by the way, the same result could have come out of Bayley and Nikki Cross if you would have taken one line out of Sasha's promo, which is Sasha said, "I'm going to take what's most precious to you, and that is your WWE SmackDown Women's Championship." If Sasha just doesn't say that line, then the suspense of Nikki versus Bayley is still there. But I agree with you. Yes, as of right now, I think we know what's going to happen. It's dead in the water. Nikki's going to lose, but Nikki's obviously going to go deal with Alexa and the Fiend stuff going on.
And that storyline could continue at the end where Alexa Bliss could come out and do something.
Dude,
Sister Abigail again.
Dude, the moment that the moment that Alexa Bliss is on the Funhouse, I will mark out. I will, because it's finally going to happen.
I'm gonna have to ask Allison how everything happened and how everything was when that happened.
Oh, it's gonna be so good.
Because she's gonna, she might have to record you at that moment.
Exactly. But anyway, but I mean, you gave the top 2 people for you, but in all seriousness, has anyone been better with the landscape we've been given than Sasha and Bayley?
No, they as Vince has told them, it's like somebody grabbed the ring and run.
Oh, they did.
And they grabbed the ring and ran like mad.
Oh my! It's
and
again, they've looked bad at times, but never so bad that they killed their credibility. They've looked unbeatable at times, which builds their credibility. They've never hit a low point to where I just gave up. Whereas Omega and Paige hit so many low points, I was like, at this point, I'm going to need some drugs off the street just to get up at this point. Like, my God.
Yeah, with them, man, 2 low points is, Sasha lost her belt, and then their next low point was they lost the tag team titles.
Right.
But still...
But that was at the end of the friendship angle of this whole thing.
Towards the end of the friendship angle, yes.
So, another thing that's happened in the pandemic is Roman Reigns went home. We're finally going to get to this. Roman Reigns went home. Yeah. It's okay. He had 2
a brand new
kids.
Baby.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Had to take care of the kids.
Got to.
But my God, I dare you to find something wrong from the second he's gotten back. It was a shock. And I don't want to talk about the hell out of me. And I don't want to talk about what's gone wrong with the Fiend and Braun. What has gone wrong for Roman's build? Forget the Fiend. Forget Strowman. What has hurt Reigns since he got back? In my opinion, nothing. 0.
Oh no, nothing. I mean,
he came back and he wrecked everyone. He came back and there was the Paul Heyman moment where I was like, oh shit, this is a thing. And don't tell me if they didn't have a crowd that they wouldn't have lost their ever-loving minds.
Oh God, yes, they would have.
And, Paul, God bless him, Paul is doing what he should do and what so many managers don't do anymore. He is selling Roman in a completely different way that he sold Brock.
Yeah. With Brock, he had to talk more. With Roman, he doesn't. I mean,
no. I think he's talking about the same. I just think that Heyman is more of a subservient character to Roman, whereas to Brock, Heyman was kind of in charge.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's
and he's got that Jake the Snake style promo now. It's soft spoken. It's quiet. He's not trying to hype you up. Brock Lesnar is a prize fighter. Heyman's trying to sell you a ticket. Roman's the tribal leader. He ain't trying to sell you nothing.
And how they ended SmackDown on Friday, where they, with Uso, with Jay handing him the belt, he was like celebrating his, and then he looked at Paul Heyman. Paul just shook his head and just like switch.
Yep.
But I'm gonna rip his head off.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God.
And look, by the way, this is, in my opinion, based on what Roman has come back as. And by the way, for those of you out there, because so many people keep questioning it, especially in the lounge, it's a heel turn. Get over it. It's a heel turn. If this were the old days, nobody would be questioning if this was a heel turn.
Oh yeah.
Also, quick question: if it's not a heel turn, what the hell is it? Because it sure as hell ain't a face turn. As hell ain't a face run. But here's the thing. This is, in my opinion, based on the way Roman's come back, this is the perfect first match.
Oh yeah.
For Roman.
And
it's a tag team guy. Yes, it's a family member. Yes, it's a guy that's not really gonna win. We know that. But it's working.
Oh yeah.
It fits. It's working. I like it. I enjoy where we're going.
I don't think it's gonna be a
it's gonna
long
be a squash.
strong out match. It's gonna be a squash.
We all know that.
Yeah.
It'll be a squash. But no, it's just you've given Jay. Is it Jay? It's Jay, right? Yeah.
Jay.
Yeah,
yes.
it's Jay. Okay. Jay's been given a chance to perform. You see that Jay can go. You see that Jay is completely capable of working by himself without Jimmy. Although the Usos are a brand, they are a tag team.
Yeah.
But yeah, so far, asterisk, so far, I see nothing wrong.
No.
I haven't hated it. I don't dislike it. I don't hate it. I don't dislike it. None of it's a problem to me. It makes sense. I love it. Give him credit. Give him credit. They have Roman is, and you know, Gene in the lounge. I wanted to address this. Gene said in the lounge, why didn't they do this from the start? But before
from the start of what, when Roman was in a singles character?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Roman General. But before we answer that, would Roman be the same Mystique without all the backlash he's already gone through?
No, I don't think so.
Would Roman be the tribal leader that he is without the established dominance as a face? Because that's what always makes a great heel, is when you loved me, I still put up and shut them up. But now that I'm doing my own thing, you can't deny me.
Yeah.
Some guys go bad because they got screwed as good, and it's unbelievable because it's just, okay, you got slighted, whatever, blah blah blah. You guys never it. The story's been told 1,000 times.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think Roman would be the same tribal chief type character that he is in this moment if it wasn't for all the backlash he got beforehand, all the turmoil he went through in the beginning. Everything has come full circle for Roman Reigns, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on it?
I think it's great. I mean, they went back to and his lineage of his family, his cousins, and everything like that. I mean, they brought that up.
Yeah.
And, you know, talked about, well, they didn't talk about it in the show, but...
The majority of the wrestling world finally learned that Rikishi worked with Paul. I don't think a lot of people knew that.
And that wasn't on the show. That was just over social media and stuff they found out. And I didn't know that either. But yeah, I mean, it shows the Samoan heritage and the connection and the involvement of so many years of that family in wrestling. Yeah. And it's just like, boom. And it's like...
And like I said,
it was great.
Paul can sell ice to an Eskimo, and he can sell the sun to Hawaii. I mean, like, Paul is. But again, as they said, even in his DVD, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman. Paul is a genius when he doesn't have to be the top guy in charge.
Mm-hmm.
When it doesn't involve business, Paul has a mind for wrestling. He just does.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and I've watched a few videos where he's standing in front of a crowd of people talking about the business and different things, and I love watching this. I mean, like, somebody was trying to heckle him. I'm like, really? You're going to try to heckle Paul Heyman? He killed the guy. He squashed him, of course.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, all day.
But just hearing him talk about the business and everything, and it's so neat. I would love to sit down with him and talk to him about whatever.
Great. Oh God,
my mind would be blown by the end of the time.
That is my dream interview for this show.
Oh really?
That is my dream interview.
That would be one hell.
I want to sit down with Paul for a couple hours.
It would either be, for me, a dream interview, Flair or Hogan, just because they're two.
Okay. Yeah.
Two of my all-time heroes growing up.
I think that helps. I think our viewers want an interview with me and the Bucks. That's what I think they want.
They would want that.
Our viewers want me and the Bucks.
I'd want that too, because I'd tell them, hey, what? They think they're okay, but you just think you suck.
Your rivalry with Darren Corbin would be me versus the Bucks.
It might surpass me and Darren's rivalry.
Oh, it would. It would. Give me an hour. I'll do it. So since we started doing the show, I think we've covered so many different stories.
We've been everything possible.
But the thing is that I like how we started this show, and the wrestling landscape became something that it never was before. It almost made us really adjust the show.
I think so.
And for those of you out there who don't realize, our very first show, the Zero Session, we recorded that twice.
We did record. What the hell? We didn't like. I can't remember what happened.
You didn't hit the record button.
Oh yeah, I started going. I'm like, God dang, it didn't record. Yeah, I'm the technical guy, and I screwed up.
Well,
I've done that a couple times.
Well, but again, as we've said from day one, the show has evolved from an idea of once a month to a weekly show in which we've and honestly, I think we've had to do a lot more research for a show every week than we would have to do one. I mean, it's obvious we'd have to do more research for a show that we do once a week than a show that we do once a month. But we've been forced to up our game in terms of the research. Because the thing about it is that again, everyone who's come to the show will attest to this. We got notes, like we're prepared. We know what we're gonna say. Not in the sense that we have a script, but we're educated on the topics.
Oh yeah.
People that want to say I'm just shitting on AEW and why you don't watch. I watch. I sit through this crap.
As I think I've taken a picture of your notebook.
You have.
You have a notebook and it's thick.
I got.
And there's so much crap.
I got pages of notes here.
Oh, yeah.
But no, so I mean, from the whole, I mean, it's almost like we were destined to fail that first episode, anyways. So
yeah, maybe.
So I mean, a lot's happened.
Neither one of us has ever tried to do this,
right?
So we were learning, and that's what people's like. We're learning,
and we missed the most basic step, which is the record button.
The record. But we're learning all the time. I mean, this is a learning swing.
Oh, it still is, yeah.
It's still. I mean, there.
100%.
We have. God knows where we could go from this. I mean, hopefully, when things get more normal, we can get
more people on the show.
More people. I mean, we'd love, and I know everybody would love. I would love to have a wrestler sit down with us at my kitchen table. I definitely would have baked goodies when that was happening.
Or we could just pack this up, go
find somewhere,
go to Clyde, and be like, hey, can we borrow one of your rooms in the back for a little while?
And boom, and do a show.
Oh yeah,
I mean, we could do that, no problem.
All day.
And that's the fun part. I mean, and when shows are coming back on again, we can do it again.
We'll be mobile
with a camera.
Oh yeah.
A camera and my phone. Which is crazy.
Some of the, it's like some of the live moments of merch will be fun, where we actually just show off merch right then and there.
God,
we could show.
That'll be fun.
We could show 7-8 wrestlers merch tables.
It's like, all right, this is what you buy. You buy this.
On
boom,
the same,
boom, boom.
on the same episode. That'd be so much fun.
And then talk to the wrestler. Hey, how you doing?
Oh yeah, no, it'd be great. But no, the one thing for me that I look at and I say to myself here is we've really found a way to bring our own unique perspectives, but we've also had anyone and everyone on the show that, I mean, because remember for a while there it was you, me, Willie, and we were able to sit down and out of nowhere it was, hey, I'm describing AEW and everyone's like, damn, that's shit. But then when we finally got to the review, Jesse came on, and Jesse was, and that was not planned. People have to understand.
Yeah.
We did not know that Jesse was gonna be that pro AEW, and he fought back at me, but he also sat there and acknowledged that what I was saying was valid.
Yeah.
At least based on my opinion. I mean, I don't have the years and years of experience that, a Jim Cornette has or that a Vince McMahon has in this business. So I'm going off just what I know and like about wrestling. But, semantics at that point. But anyway, so back to some actual wrestling stuff going on here. The G1 is going.
Had the first 2 nights already.
Super, super excited. The G1 did not get canceled. It's been fun. To know that's still there. Like we talked about earlier, great matchups this year. Fantastic.
And I believe, Don't have the schedule. I think the next two. No, is that the right? No, that's that one.
Anyway,
I think the next two are this weekend.
Okay, cool.
Again,
yeah,
I think
fantastic.
they're doing it on Friday, Saturday. So.
Yeah. I believe from the matchups that are big right now, I think so far Naito and Ibushi both have wins.
Let's see here.
In case I'm missing.
Ibushi won.
Okay. Is that against Okada?
Yeah, Okada.
Ooh, Okada going down 0-1 right away. That's interesting.
Yeah, let's see. Will Ospreay won. Tashi.
We're not. And by the way, whilst we cover this, we're not going to sit here and bash on Will Ospreay. Obviously, the Speak Out movement, Will was mentioned due to the fact that he kept one of his ex-girlfriends, I believe it was, from wrestling in the UK. Yeah. We're not going to sit here and harp on that. We're going to give a tournament that deserves praise like it does the G1. We're going to give them the love that they deserve, and we're going to focus on the actual tournament itself. I'm not going to besmirch the tournament like that. But anyway, go on.
Yeah, I mean, it was like Will Ospreay, Tashi, Suzuki won, Jay White,
okay,
and Bushi. That was the first night.
Jay White won?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Jay White is not necessarily my pick, but God, I want him to win it.
Oh yeah.
Jay White, in my opinion, has turned the corner. He is now a grown man. He is ready to be the top, not just Gaijin, but I think be the top guy in New Japan. And obviously Naito's there, and Naito's been fantastic since he became the double champion again. Obviously.
Yeah, and then it was Juice Robinson. Juice won.
Juice out there looking like a damn Blues brother. I'm surprised he didn't come out with Drake and Josh swinging to it.
I did see that.
I'm surprised that Juice Robinson didn't say in Japanese, "I'm on a mission from God." I'm surprised that didn't come out of his mouth.
That would have been nice.
That would have been good. I like that.
And then Yano Kenta won.
Kenta won?
Yes, Kenta won.
Kenta's had a great resurgence since he got back to New Japan. Love it.
Evil lost.
Yeah, Evil,
I saw that. Yeah.
Was it Evil versus Naito?
No. That was Zack Sabre Jr. beat Evil.
Zack Sabre Jr. in my opinion, because he's such a British snotty Gaijin, I don't think he's going to get the credit he deserves for being in this tournament all those years. I don't think he's ever going to win, but he puts on good matches. Zack Sabre Jr. is a fantastic competitor.
Yeah, but Kenta, he went against Hiroko Goto. That's who he was teaming.
Goto's a big G1 mainstay. I don't know if he'll ever win the thing, but I mean, he's got a lot of experience in the G1 here. I'm gonna talk to Bug and get him on there here one of these days. We'll talk about the G1.
I pulled that. Yeah, the 23rd and the 24th.
Fantastic.
Is, that's
this week. Yeah.
3 days from now. That's
okay.
the next two, and then the 27th and 29th. So I was like, boom, boom.
I still don't have it because I'm...
The first few are afterwards.
Yeah, I don't have it just yet, but because I'm still working out some logistics. But if you don't have New Japan World, which is like WWE Network just with New Japan, New Japan's got some great wrestling. It's fantastic.
I think Gene put it up, and then Eric had it on Discover on their page. So I mean, I get 2 spots to actually check it out.
Super looking forward to that.
So
we've recapped all that. We've done this and that. Retribution is finally talking. Retribution is finally a thing.
And they actually came out and said a legitimate 5 people that they are going to feature.
Now, here's the deal. We know Dio Madden has been there multiple times.
Yes.
We know that Dominik Dijakovic is there only because it's kind of hard to miss a guy that big.
Yeah. Number 2.
Mia Yim, Mercedes Martinez.
Yep.
Mercedes Martinez was on NXT, but now she's no longer involved with the Robert Stone brand. I haven't seen her since she lost the cage match. Mia Yim I haven't seen in a while, so it makes sense.
And when I watched...
And Dominik hasn't been on NXT since he got destroyed by Karrion Kross.
Yeah.
So.
And when I saw them last, when they said Mia, I'm like, oh yeah, that's her right there. I could tell.
Yeah. Well. Okay,
and they also have Shane Thorne.
Okay.
That's the other one they have. That's who they have.
Now, okay. I look at the last time I've seen at least four of them. I don't remember the last time I saw Shane Thorne, but I remember the last couple times I saw them. Dijakovic got his ass handed to him. Mia Yim was not in the best of places. I think Mia Yim was going through a losing streak or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Mercedes Martinez obviously just got beat in a steel cage. Dio Madden no one has seen since Brock took him out. So at least from those four, I can see why they would want Retribution, no pun intended. I can see where you would build them to be gone for a little while. We also now know that you and I were pretty much on point when we said that they were using stand-ins, because nobody that was there the night they tore up the ring is probably still in Retribution.
No, they're just using people and stuff.
You can't tell me that one of those nights they didn't use Xavier Woods. You can't tell me one of those nights wasn't Xavier Woods.
I think so.
That night they brought out the chainsaw, I promise you that Xavier Woods was in there.
Yeah.
I could hear him. I saw him. I promise you it was Xavier Woods.
Well, it's given him something to do. I mean,
yeah,
I don't blame him at all.
Yeah, but no. So I don't know where they're going to go with this. I don't know what the plan is. I feel like you're starting to dangle another carrot and it's starting to drag a little bit. But at the same time, it's not boring. It's not a storyline that I hate.
And it's interesting. They're just going to be on Raw. Because they were on both, and now it's kind of,
for the most part.
And now they're just featured on Raw.
Well, but Raw is still the flagship name. Whether or not SmackDown gets more praise these days because of the Fox deal or not, it's still the the go-to show.
Yeah, it is.
So I mean, I'll ask: do you think Big E has a chance to do something here? Because remember, Kofi said he'd be out 6 weeks. It's been longer than 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So I mean, I still think New Day has a lot to give, not just the tag team division, but just being there.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're done, but I've liked Big E so far.
He's doing great. I mean, I think they'll still do another match with
Sheamus.
With Sheamus at least,
yep.
And that might end it. And then who's gonna go into next? I mean, I don't know if it's going to throw him at Roman right away, or he might have to go through Corbin next.
Yeah.
I think he work with Corbin next and do that, and then he can go on to the title. I don't know if he's going to win the title, but I mean, he's going for a shot with it at least. I mean, it'll be good.
See, here's the thing. I think Drew's going to be around for a while.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with Big E not going after Drew.
I don't see him going after Drew, no.
I see Big E maybe getting a shot with the Intercontinental title. I see Big E getting maybe a WWE run with Roman if Big E continues to rise and Roman eventually comes back down.
Yeah.
I could, honestly, hear me out. If Jimmy comes back, the Bloodline, New Day, with an emphasis on Big E versus Roman...
that would be good.
Then I could see it.
Yeah.
I would like that. You got people that can talk. You got people that can fight. You got people that are all credentialed. Xavier Woods is beyond credentialed in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Just going to be fine. Yeah. I mean, for me, I don't know. It's a lot of. Right now, WWE actually has my attention more than anybody. Not because I'm an AEW hater, because I'm not. I have a difference of opinion.
Oh yeah.
Not because I don't like the G1. I think the G1's a great thing, but obviously the pandemic makes it feel a little weird. But WWE has so many different balls in the air right now. What's going to fall? What's going to land? What's going to fizzle out? I'm intrigued.
Oh, yeah.
I would prefer to see Braun Strowman versus Is it Babatunde? Is that what they're calling him?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. I would like to see them in a ring, in a wrestling match, because Raw Underground feels so... not the environment that I would like, but I get it. I'm okay with it. It is what it is. It'll be interesting to see where it goes.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm gonna enjoy seeing that this week.
No, that's gonna be a really good
150
match. Okay. Honestly, we got through a lot. We got through some somewhat sentimental words. So, Leroy, we've been through 20. Your thoughts on the first 20?
A lot of fun. A lot of interesting times. I mean,
a lot of work.
A lot of, yeah. Really, everybody said, everybody hears Zach so much. It's like, yeah, but there's so much stuff that I do. It's crazy. Yeah, a lot of ink through a printer and a lot of paper.
And you don't feel like you're not a part of the show, obviously.
Oh, no. I there's so much I do. It's so much stuff I pull out. I mean,
it keeps us busy. We've been able to have a lot of our friends on, and I think what's been really, honestly, the most fun thing for me, and this is why every Sunday I'm sending out text messages to 30, 40 people trying to get one person on the show.
Yeah.
It's everyone who's done it has just had a great time.
Yeah.
Obviously, life gets in the way, and we can't always all be here. We can't do the show every week together. You and I can, because obviously we've built our lives around that, but we don't expect anybody else to do that the way we did that.
Yeah.
But no, the best part for me has been the fact that we've had somewhat industry professionals on the show, like Darren, like Eric, and they've been complimentary of what we've done. They think it's a well done thing. Obviously, JDX as well has been on the show in a way, not the podcast, but the interviews. All of our friends have just had fun. They've been able to come on and be themselves. I know every person I've talked to has been like, man, I don't know if I can do this. I'm like, just come on the show.
Just come on
and then
talk.
They've opened up and they've been able to have fun. I know Willie, the first time he was on, was a little nervous and didn't know what to do and yada yada. And then ever since that first show with him, he's just been lightning in a bottle. He's been it's been great to have him. We've been able to grow our ideas, our thoughts for this. I'm not bored, needless to say. In terms of
well, that's good.
Well, no, but like in terms of like creating.
Yeah.
I'm not bored with what we can create. I mean, for all the people listening, we do have YouTube ideas, we have show ideas, but that's time and money that we don't necessarily always get. So we're trying, we're doing our best. We have ideas written down, they're filed away, we have notes on things, we're writing different shows, we have plenty of other stuff coming your way. We're gonna start bringing on people who maybe aren't into wrestling that much, and we're gonna integrate them into the show. We're gonna have topics that sort of cross over. We're gonna do different stuff. It's still gonna be a wrestling podcast. That's gonna be the basis of the show. But I'm really excited on the stuff that I think is coming up, and I think the next 20 are gonna be gonna have the same level of awesomeness, but also have a much different feel. But in a, we talked about early in the show, a very evolution sort of way.
Oh yeah. Sky's the limit what we can do. I mean, we want to get, actually get wrestlers and talk to wrestlers. Be able to, and it's small enough that we can expand and go on the road, and it's light enough that we can do that. And then I'm updating our studio equipment.
There we go.
And hopefully,
I
guess comes off back, or I can actually have something.
And hopefully, in a year or two, we'll actually have a studio.
Yeah, I know. I got to work on that too, and make a studio soundproof, lock the door, the kids can't come in. All the PS5 and video, they can just have fun with doing that.
Yeah, there you go. But anyway, Leroy, I said it before, and as much as I probably throw up my mouth when the mic goes off, it's been fun. I don't know if I could have done this with anybody else, because I just, like I said, you share a passion for something that by the way, I just want to point out, this doesn't make me cool. I'm gonna be 100% honest. To the average person, to my friends, to my family, they think it's a neat idea, but they think it's neat. They don't think it's cool.
This
is not cool to people. But you don't care. You want to do it. We had a chance to go wrestling and sports and maybe have a wider appeal, but this is what we wanted to do. This was the passion. This was the drive. This was the goal. And, it's like, I will live and die on the hill of professional wrestling. I mean, it's, everybody said after 4 or 5 episodes, just go into like covering all the other sports. And I'm like, you know what? you got Undisputed, you got First Take, you got Speak for Yourself, you got Common Cap, you got so many things, and you know this is what I always wanted to do. This is where I wanted to be, and I thank you for being so bullheaded and stubborn that you jumped into the water head first with me on this project.
You can thank my grandfather, God rest his soul, who I named my son after.
There you go.
I get that from him and from my mom and from my grandma who's passed.
We have a company motto here: 95% of everything we do is bullshit. Because it is.
Yeah.
There's a 5% professionalism on this show, and the rest of it is just we get together and we figure this out on the fly. But yeah, I mean, you know, what's really interesting to me is we went through 20 shows in a pandemic. We'll probably do 20 more shows before the pandemic's over. But,
most likely.
But you know, it's like I really like going into the second part, not second half, because there's no one or two halves of this thing. I like going into the next part of this show because once the pandemic is finally over, once the world kind of calms back down, you are going to see more of this company, not just this podcast, grow and expand. You're going to see more entertaining things to it. We're going to be able to do a lot more.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, after January, that I think the ball is going to start rolling in that right direction, which gets closer to our April, which is our anniversary, and there's stuff going to be happening around then.
Might have to try to plan something for that big anniversary show and just be like, hey Eric, you wanna open up those phone numbers there and get us somebody?
I know, like we're definitely in that, and I've been talking about it and be able to go and doing a Facebook Live through our page or through my Facebook Live somewhere through the lounge, through our own page, and whatever, and have it.
Yep.
And people would see, you know, it's like, yeah, there's two dorky guys sitting there talking about wrestling, and
that's all it is, man.
And then they'd see the bake stuff, because I'll probably, you know, if I do that live, I got to have some cookies, banana bread or something, man.
Eric walked in and said, this is probably one of those professional setups, and I'm like, man, what have you been doing? You been working on the warehouse? Because goddamn, we just put this shit together.
We got him duped.
There we go. we got everybody duped. But anyway, we'll stop getting sentimental. I know you guys came here for wrestling, but that'll be the end of the show for today. Once again, please subscribe to us on YouTube. We're up to 31 subscribers. We are looking to get on Amazon Music here at some point.
That just showed up on
we're still on
Podomatic, so we're trying to get that.
We're still on Spotify. We're still on iTunes. Like I said, we have 31 subscribers. We're trying to hit that big 100 on YouTube 100. There. We're gonna, more stuff to come on YouTube. If people just go to YouTube and hit the little subscribe, you don't have to hit the bell. You don't have to wait for every update. Just hit the subscribe. If you do that, if we see growth there, I tell you,
we're gonna go nuts.
We got stuff there for you. I promise you. So anyway, from everybody here, me and Leroy, as well as everyone that works here, we're very proud of this. We're very happy with this. Can't wait to keep going. It's been 20 great ones. Let's do 20,000 more, shall we?
20,000?
Well, you know, you'll be dead.
I don't know if I'm gonna live that long. God, jeez. My son will take over.
We've already lived 300 years, so.
My son can take over. Maybe.
That's fair. Yeah. That's fair. Anyway, so from everyone here, thank you all so very much. Leroy, once again, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Zach. It was good. Yep. It's been fun, and it's gonna get more fun.
It's been something. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
All right. We'll see y'all next week.